this looks fun.
It's a medium, not a genre. It's not part-time, it's a lifetime.
Hey guys, Bayon is back, and in this video I'm going to be discussing what could be the origin of my creativeness, colorfulness, and tininess. Little Big Planet is a game which got me into the PlayStation world of gaming, and I feel like it's a great discussion when talking about just really solid games all around, and also has a good setup of like other installments, which a lot of other series you can't really say the same for. So in this video I'm going to be discussing all of the games I've played and ranking them in order from least favorite to most favorite, with the only exception being the PS Vita Little Big Planet game, because I've never owned the PS Vita, but if I did I would have definitely gotten the Little Big Planet installment for it. So with that being said, I think it's about time we get started. So it's pretty sad that I have to start off with this one. It's definitely not a bad game, but it's just a little disappointing. I think the change to 3D, it was a little like odd to get used to, like when I first played it, but after a little bit I managed to get used to it. Like the main thing which makes this game like the lowest out of all the other games is I'm just disappointed that there isn't like a create your own world like section to the game, because as you know that's like a big part in like all the other games, and I feel like it just would have been extra interesting with the mechanics which this game includes. Besides that, the villain was okay. He isn't bad. He has like a pretty cool design, and this game also has some fun boss fights, cool environments, like which is a staple of the series. It's just that like last create liking world thing. I just would have liked if that was included. Like still a good game, but just that that's just the reason why I can't go any higher. As someone who isn't a big fan of karting games really, Little Big Planet Karting is kind of a pretty fun game. Of course you like have the aesthetic of Little Big Planet, which is pretty fun to like move around and feel like the perspective of driving with the little karts, and like some of the challenges, some of the like different missions you have can be pretty they were fun like at the time, and unlike the previous example, this world actually has like a area where you can create your own maps, and that was fun to like move around with. There isn't too much to really say about this. It's like just Little Big Planet. It's a karting game with the Little Big Planet aesthetic, but I love the Little Big Planet aesthetic, so that like helps this karting game be pretty enjoyable. So I have to admit, Little Big Planet on the PSP was something I was very addicted to. Being on a portable device, I could play it anywhere, which made it like really easy to just like not let go of it. So like when I beat the game, I would just keep on like redoing like levels I've already done because I found them so fun. I would like redo them with creating my own narrative to them, which is something I've done like rarely for other games. The only one I can really think of that for is the second Luigi's Mansion game, but that's a different story. With that being said, and the reason this game is like not in the top 3, not only because of the other game's quality, it's also because I gotta admit this game, at least in my experience, just wasn't running super well. Like it would crash multiple times, and it would like slow down some. There would like be like some of the areas would like just not load textures right, and besides that, like it's a different. I like how each installment has each like like console release has a different like story to it. I know the PS Vita one has its own one, and this one has its own too. It's not as big as the other games, like the feature games, but I mean, it has a story to it. I mean, it's not like really connected to it. To be fair, it's not really them. What I'm saying is there's not like a continuous like story going throughout. You're just going to different areas and enjoying like the time there. I really like the snow cabin area. That's like a big highlight. There's also the like Hollywoodish area. That's cool. Yeah, this is just Little Big Planet on the PS Vita. I've played a ton with the Create World thing. They weren't like super complex stuff, but it was fun with my little child mind. And yeah, so this was pretty fun, even if kept on. I actually needed to get like a different like game for it. I needed to get like a different copy just because they thought that like the other one broke with how much it was crashing. So yeah, besides that, great. Okay, now we're in the top 3. Stuff's getting heated, and we're starting off with the one that started it all. Yep, it's actually pretty simple compared to like the games in the future. There's no gadgets, no bounce pads. But I think that's what I like about this game. Like it's like pretty simple, but it also is like it just wears the simpleness on its head. This game is just full of charm. The story in it is a lot less pronounced than the like 2 that we're gonna be getting into, and I feel like that like helps fit the mood of just this much earlier game. And with that being said, this game also has some like cool worlds in it. The Savannah world is cool. The like Nights world is like one of the most memorable first worlds I can think of. I think another one would happen to be like the final world. It's surprisingly challenging. It's like the final world is actually did have a lot of points which gave me a lot of trouble. And I didn't really experiment with the come to think of it, when I think of like the Create World thing, I didn't really experiment with it that much. I would more likely just play other people's levels, but when I did do stuff, it felt good at the time. I was mainly just messing around with the game's mechanics and stuff. But yeah, this game is it's like I said, pretty fun, pretty enjoyable, like some well thought out worlds and stuff, and it's a great start to this really cool franchise. So, out of all the games which I was moving around, I think the hardest decision for me to make was figuring out if Little Big Planet 1 or 3 was going to be in the second place, and as you can tell I voted on 3, and I think the factor in why I like it a bit more is because I just really like all the different mechanics this one adds, like all the different like layers that you can go into besides just the main 3. I thought that was a pretty interesting way to like increase the scope of it. I do like the like new worlds mechanic, which like makes the areas feel more thought out, and I also really enjoy like I like some of the characters. The villain is pretty like he's like one of the standouts, and also I do like the odd things, the like little friends you make along the way. They feel a little gimmicky, I guess you can say. I don't really mind them in that sense. They lead to some pretty cool like puzzles and platforming, and they do like get the game to like feel a little more fresh and stuff. Yeah, this game is like had like a few years come out like since Little Big Planet 2, unlike Little Big Planet 2 from 1, which came out like 2 years. This one came out like 3, and I feel like they just really thought of like different ways. I feel like it's creative how they thought of different ways to like improve like the game, or at least not improve because it's already great, but just make it a little more interesting if they could. And they say it's just, I think the add-ons just help this game feel like pretty engaging and stuff. So with that being said, we're on to our final one. Now we're getting to it, the magnum opus of Little Big Planet, the Shrek 2 of Little Big Planet, Little Big Planet 2. Yeah, so this game has like some of my favorite locations in all of the franchise. I love the beginning area. I think I might like it more than the beginning area in Little Big Planet 1, like where it's wooden aesthetic. I also like the characters more. They are more memorable. I mean, I'm mainly comparing that to Little Big Planet 3 because Little Big Planet 1 doesn't really have like characters. I mean, not as in depth, but yeah. So I really like the villain and the concept behind him in this game more than the other ones. He's like a vacuum kind of, and he's meant to like suck up all the different like elements that makes the world what it is. And yeah, like the different worlds, like I mentioned before, are pretty great. There's that like become grassy one you go to later on, which is highlight, along with of course that like sugary cake world, which is also like looks aesthetically amazing in my opinion. Probably one of my favorite worlds in the game. And I love the new mechanics like the grappling hook, the grabinator, and I feel like you just there's just a lot of just like love in this world, a lot of creativity in it, and the fact that like I said the enemy is like an item which is supposed to like destroy that stuff like makes that like sweet creativity a lot more valuable, and reminds me of me, how creative I can be, how much I try and put my love into all this stuff. I think that's pretty cool. And with that being said, I guess that's Little Big Planet 2 for ya. Also, it has a really good score. So with that being said, I hope you enjoy. If you want to see more, you can subscribe. I've made other videos recently that are kind of like this one, other gaming videos, other ranking videos, and I think you could find that stuff enjoyable if you found this enjoyable. Also, I have an Instagram, you can see it in my YouTube bio if you want, where I post a lot of personal art. So, with that being said, you'll be seeing this artist later. My boy's got his own ringtone. It's the only one I know, it's the only one I know. My boy's got his own ringtone. It's the only one I know, it's the only one I know. My boy's got his own ringtone. It's the only one I know, it's the only one I know. My boy's got his own ringtone. It's the only one I know, it's the only one I answer.